Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Talking Trash with Trash Panda. I am your host, Trash Panda, and today, welcome back to the dumpster. We're going to discuss the May 12th episode of NXT. First and foremost, I'd like to apologize. I completely forgot I was supposed to watch AEW last night. Forgive me on that front. But the reason why is because basketball and hockey were really fucking good last night. The Avs and the Wild and the Cavs and the Pistons, both games with the overtime. The Avs came back 3-0 to close out the series and win 4-3 in overtime. And then the Cavs and the Pistons battled into overtime, and the Cavs ended up taking that game. So I apologize for missing AEW last night. I was really excited for the show, but the last night's sports was crazy. So forgive me on that front. But without further ado, let's get into the May 12th episode of NXT. The show opened with Zarya versus Nikita Lyons versus Tatum Paxley and Lizzie Rain. This was, I'd give it about a 3-star bout. These guys did pretty well in the ring. These girls, I didn't know Lizzie Rain. I don't know Lizzie Rain that much, but her finisher is really fucking good. It's brutal as hell. But you know, it showcased what they can do in the ring, and I'm looking forward to the future with Lizzie Rain and Tatum Paxley. Nikita Lyons gets pinned, which was probably the obvious decision in this one. But you know, it was a good match. I mean, I don't really have much to say on it. Then you had a backstage segment with Ren Sinclair and Kendall Gray, where she says she doesn't want to be like Sol Ruka and Zarya. She doesn't want to be a distraction. And Kendall Gray says, hey, you know, that's not what we are. We are nothing like them. And, you know, that we don't have to worry about that. Solid promo. Great segment. Next up, we then had the debut of Naruku. So, versus the Golden Links, Lince Dorado. So, Lince Dorado has been having a resurgence of his career in AAA. So, seeing him on NXT is no surprise at all for me. And in this match, it showcased what he can do in the ring. It showcased his ability to high fly. It showcased his ability to, you know, use his speed as an advantage in these types of matches. And for Lince, I felt like this was a good showcase. It was an even better showcase for Naruku. And if you don't know who Evil is, Evil was a fantastic competitor in New Japan, and it looks like Naruku is not going to be a pushover in NXT either. I'm excited to see what he does. This match was a solid 3.5. These two did very well together. Naruku showcasing his abilities in the ring and his stiffness, that New Japan stiffness. And every time I was oohing and awing, like every hit, I was like, damn, oh my God, that's stiff as fuck. Jesus Christ. You know, it was a back and forth, just, you know, heavy hitting bout that showcased Naruku winning by the with an STO that is now called Enter the Abyss. Again, great finish. Dorado delivered a massive chop to Dorado, or to Naruku, and it left a mark on his chest. But man, I'm excited to see what he does in NXT. He says he's not honorable. He's pure evil, and I fucking love that. I'm excited to see. He's going to be NXT sooner than later. A great fucking match. And yeah, so then we had the Birthright made their way to the ring, and before that anything with Birthright, for the 6-man tag match, Jada Parker crashed an interview with Natalia, and it seems like Jada Parker wants to be, you know, trained by Natalia, trained by like kind of like get taken under her wing. And if that's the case, I'm invested. I think working with Natalia for Jada Parker could be great. Jada Parker's already a great worker, but the bloodline of the Hart Foundation is running through Natalia. I think that would be a great thing for them, for sure. So I'm looking forward to next Tuesday as this develops even more between these two women. But back at ringside, EK Prosper, Tate Wilder, and Sean Legacy make their way down. Birthright versus Prosper, Wilder, and Sean Legacy. Really enjoyed this match. 3 3/4. It was a very fun. It showcased a lot of guys that I didn't know, like Tate Wilder and Sean Legacy, for example. There's a lot guys that I'm not familiar with, and I really like the story they told that Birthright is trained for this. They're and in the match you could see that the way they wrestled, and Charlie Dempsey was stiff as always. But it was back and forth. And Tate Wilder, the reason why they lost is because he would never make the tag. And it was like, the story of, oh, this guy's he's new, he's green, he's cocky, he's arrogant, and he just wants to win. And it costed him the match. And that's a great story for him. And then it leads to something later on in the show. But this was a great match. Like I said, Birthright picks up the win here. But again, I like the story that they're telling with these three. Birthright, I think, is going to run NXT soon. Dempsey might become NXT champion, maybe Stacks. But, every time I watch Stacks, I forget how good he is in the ring. And then in this match, it showcased what he's able to do. I mean, there are a couple spots where I was like, damn, But, yeah, Birthright wins, and it's a solid match. Next up, we had the another backstage segment where Tatum Paxley tells Lizzie Rain that she's decided to give her a shot at the NXT North American Championship, and it's setting up for a stacked card next week for Tuesday, and we'll get into that at the end of the show. Shiloh Hill shows up, talks about Tristan Angels, and cuts a promo on him. It's pretty good. I'm interested to see what they do with Tristan Angels and Shiloh Hill here. Lizzie Rain says that she has a disdain for Tristan as well. And then Angel overhears it and confronts both of them. Sets up Tristan Angel saying, I'm going to debut next week and I want it to be against Shiloh Hill. So along with the NXT North American Championship match between Lizzie Rain and Tatum Paxley, we're getting the debut of Tristan Angels versus Shiloh Hill. And we'll get into the other stuff that's been announced later on because it's a stacked card next week. You are not going to want to mix next Tuesday. I promise you that. Next up, we had the segment where Mason Rook becomes a member of the NXT roster. Dude. I don't know much about Mason Rook. I don't. But if this is how he's going to be, I'm invested. He cut such a good promo. While the crowd's chanting, he's big, he's bad, he'll body slam your dad. Mason Rook, it feels like Oba. Like not in the same like the size of Oba or whatever, but the professionality of it, the how comfortable he is, and he's over as hell for one, and two, he dissects what general manager Stone says. D'Angelo comes out, tries to cut a promo in response. Cam Hendricks gets involved. They battle. And then at the end of the segment, Mason Rook jumps off of the top rope into security guards and D'Angelo and Hendricks, setting up, who's going to be in the NXT division for the NXT Championship. Mason Rook is a star. That's what I've learned from this segment. He is going to run all of NXT sooner than later. He's comfortable. he looks polished, and it's exactly what you needed after you lost Oba. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. I'm looking forward to this division. Um, and yeah, I think, he said he's not satisfied with doing well all he's done in his career. He's not satisfied with being one of the GOAT's favorites. He's not satisfied. And I am fucking hyped for that. So next up, we had a kind of a interview segment between Emilia Gard, Lucy, and Prince Bronco of the OTM, and it was just a segment talking about just introducing us more to OTM and the backstory of them, and it was a bit personal, and I didn't mind it. It was an okay segment. I mean, it wasn't something I'm gonna write home about, that's for sure, but it got the job done. Put it that way. Next up, we had Vanity Project and Noam Dar. Noam Dar versus Jackson Drake. And again, I said it last week and I'll say it this week. I really like what they're doing with the Vanity Project in Michael Lockwood. It's a China vibe. It is. It's this, she's always the X factor in these matches, and I really enjoy that. I love what they're doing with this group here. And again, it'll lead to one of the better segments of the night. This match was fantastic. 3 3/4 throughout, because these two can work. I mean, Noam Dar's great in the ring, and Jackson Drake is proving more and more every week that he's polished and ready for the NXT. He's ready to become a champion in NXT. And I love it. I think he fits this perfectly. It was a polished match, a great match, and it showcased Jackson Drake pick up the win due to Michael Lockwood interference. Again, I like this. But I like what happened after even more. After the match, Dark State appeared, and I said, "Oh boy, here we go." And I was watching with my boys, and I said, "Oh God, here we go. Same bullshit every fucking week." And it started off that way. It did. Vanity Project doing the best they can to salvage this segment with a weak promo by some of Dark State in the beginning. Obviously, Smokes and Smokes and can't think of his fucking name. Oh my fucking God. Baylor. Baylor and Smokes cut a good promo here. They carry the segment in the beginning. But then Cutler James says that Dark State never got a rematch. And that's true, they never did. This is factual. But there's a twist, and I'll get to that. So they said, "Hey, we never got a rematch." And Smoke says, "Hey, we pinned you. You don't get one." And then he said, "Hey, no. I already talked with Robert Stone. We are going to get a rematch, but not me and Osiris. It's going to be Lennox and Sugars." Yes. Because he also said, if this doesn't work, we are going to have to make a change in Dark State. What that entails, I'm not sure. But turning this on its head, like, hey, you two need to figure your shit out. We're good, but you two need to figure your shit out. I like it. I like this storyline. It's adding more intrigue. They've been teasing it for a while, but they're finally letting this go. They're finally starting to end this. But I like how it's a slow burn. I like how they're slowly letting it go. Like next week, it's gonna be Osiris Jackson, or I'm sorry, not Osiris Jackson. It's gonna be Lennox and Sugars versus Smokes and Baylor for the NXT Tag Team Championship, and that's gonna be a great match. But I'm curious to see how those two operate in the ring together. Because to be fair with you, they're gonna lose probably, But I want to see how it works, what kind of in-ring work we're going to get between the two of them with so much tension in the Dark State. Vanity Project tries to attack them, but then it shows that Dark State is still together because Lennox and Sugars work together to knock them off the apron. And I think that is interesting. And I'm interested to see how it goes next week. So I'm hooked with this segment. At first, I was like, here we go, same bullshit. But now I'm like, this is a little intriguing. Okay, all right, they're turning the gears here. Solid segment at the end of it. It started off weak, but then it really got good. And then we get to the main event of the evening. Wow. 4 stars. Unfucking believable. Kalani Jordan versus Kalani Jordan and Kendall Gray with Ren Sinclair. Wow. If you haven't seen this match or seen highlights, this is a fucking banger. I remember watching it and I was like, wow, this is fucking, the stuff they were doing, I've never seen done. And Kendall Gray just showcasing how good she is in the ring. Kalani Jordan picks up the win off of a screwy finish, which is why it's 4, not 5. But my God, man, these two women are showcasing why they're the future of NXT. They're showcasing what they can do when they're given time. And I'm fucking invested in both of these women. Kalani Jordan is such a fucking athlete, and the stuff she does in this match is breathtaking. Kendall Gray has like an Americanized Io Sky moveset. And that's fantastic. The stuff she was doing, I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. Holy fuck. These two stole the fucking show. It was a solid match. And it sold the show for me. Kendall Gray is feuding with Lola Vice, and so is Kalani Jordan. But, hold on. The match ended when Lola Vice and Izzy Dame ran out. And they accidentally hit Ren Sinclair, which caused a distraction, which is the screwy finish. The only thing I don't like about this match. But the show ends with Izzy Dame holding the NXT Championship. I do think that is the direction they are going. I do think Izzy Dame is going to be NXT Women's Champion. And I'm interested to see how that affects the culling, because you can sense some tension there was earlier on in the show. But overall, this show, 8 out of 10. I really liked what they did in this show. There are some weak parts, but not fucking many. Like, if this is what we're going to get from NXT going forward, I'm going to be watching every Tuesday. It's a good step forward. Last week was the foundation. This week was the showcase of what is to come. Naruku's debut was fantastic. Kendall Gray and Kalani Jordan are obviously the future of the women's division in NXT. The North American Championship for the women is starting to build. Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne are having issues backstage, which is setting up a feud for them, and I'm looking forward to that so much. But let's talk about next week before we get into the end of this show. Next week, there have been a couple of matches that have been announced. This is why you do not want to miss next week. The Vanity Project and Dark State will go 2-on-2 for the NXT Tag Team Championship. Tatum Paxley will go 1-on-1 with Lizzie Rain for the NXT North American Championship. Tony D'Angelo and Miles Bourne will go 2-on-2 against Cam Hendricks and Will Rook. The debut of Will Rook is going to be insane. It is going to cook. You do not want to miss next Tuesday. I promise you that. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed this week's episode of Talking Trash with Trashpanda, leave a like, subscribe. If you find yourself coming back, go ahead and subscribe. You're coming back anyway. It helps me out a ton. Again, thank you guys for 40 subscribers. I appreciate the hell out of you. I love what I'm doing. I really enjoy these reviews, and I hope you all enjoyed as well. I would like to have more of to hear from you guys. I would love to hear your thoughts about the show. I would love to hear what you have to say about the state of the current wrestling. And yeah, like I said, 8 out of 10, great show. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and I will see you all next Tuesday from a Monday Night Raw review. Have a great rest of your week. And again, thanks for stopping by.